My beloved child, there are moments in life when reality shifts so quietly that at first, it does not even feel real. This is one of those moments. Somewhere beyond your ordinary routine, beyond the conversations, the worries, the things you believed mattered most, a truth has already been set in motion that is about to change the way you see your past forever. Someone has left behind everything they built, every treasure they guarded, every success they earned, every hidden reserve of abundance they spent a lifetime collecting, and somehow, impossibly, all of it now points to you. Not to a stranger, not to someone louder, not to someone the world expected, to you. And what makes this revelation so difficult to understand is not the wealth itself, it is the identity of the one who left it. Because this was not merely a wealthy person. This was someone whose connection to you runs far deeper than money ever could. Someone whose presence shaped your story in ways you may not even fully realize yet. And when their name is spoken, when the truth of who they were to you becomes clear, your entire memory of the past may begin rearranging itself in real time. There were signs, were there not? Strange moments you never understood, unusual kindness from unexpected places, a sense that someone had been watching your journey more closely than you realized. Perhaps there were doors that opened at just the right moment, burdens that became lighter when they should have crushed you, quiet protection surrounding your life that never seemed to make logical sense. What if those things were not random? What if there was someone in the background, someone powerful, successful, deeply aware of your existence, who chose silence over recognition because their love was never meant to be loud? Stay till the end, because what is unfolding here is not simply a story about inheritance. It is a story about hidden devotion, about a truth so personal it may leave you speechless once you fully understand it. The one who left you everything did not do so impulsively. This was not an accident. This was not the careless decision of someone with too much to give. No, every detail was deliberate. Every signature, every instruction, every private word left behind carried intention. They thought about you more than you knew. They remembered things about you others overlooked. They noticed your resilience when no one else applauded it. They saw your quiet battles, the pain you hid, the dreams you almost gave up on, and somewhere in the privacy of their own heart, they made a decision. If they could not walk beside you forever, then they would leave behind something that could. Something that would continue protecting you when they no longer could speak. But here is what may shake you most. The wealth is not the real inheritance. The money, the property, the assets, the abundance, those are merely symbols. The true gift is the message hidden inside the act itself. The message that says, I saw your worth before the world did. Pause there for a moment and let that settle. How many times did you feel unseen? How many times did you wonder if anyone truly recognized what you carry inside? How many seasons did you survive while feeling forgotten, underestimated, dismissed? And now, out of nowhere, life places before you undeniable proof that someone was paying attention all along. Someone believed in you enough to entrust you with everything they built. That kind of trust is not casual. It is sacred. It means they looked at all they had, all they earned, all they could have given to anyone, and decided you were the one most worthy of receiving it. Why? Why you? That is the question that will echo through your mind. Why would someone so accomplished, so powerful, so wealthy, choose you above all others? Because they saw something in you that perhaps even you have not fully seen in yourself. They saw the way you kept going when others would have collapsed. They saw your character when no one was watching. They saw your heart when it was easier to become bitter, yet you remained soft. They saw the way you carried pain without becoming cruel. They saw your hunger for something greater, even in the days when you pretended you no longer cared. And perhaps most powerfully of all, they saw potential in you that frightened them with its magnitude. Potential so rare that they knew what they had built belonged in the hands of someone who could turn inheritance into impact. This was never just about giving you comfort. It was about giving you responsibility. Because sometimes the greatest blessing arrives wrapped in the weight of expectation. Don't skip, because here is where the story becomes even more personal. The shock is not merely that someone left you their wealth. The shock is that the person who did, had been connected to your life far more intimately than you understood. This was not a distant admirer, not a random benefactor, not a faceless name in paperwork. This was someone whose existence touched your own story in ways you are only beginning to uncover. Someone whose silence concealed affection. Someone whose restraint hid intention. Someone who may have watched from nearer than you realized, perhaps through family ties, mentorship, friendship, guidance, or a bond you once underestimated. And now their final act has forced the truth into the light. What they felt for you was deeper than anyone ever told you. There is a strange ache in revelations like this, because joy and grief arrive together. Gratitude mixes with regret. You begin asking questions that can never fully be answered. Did they ever want to tell you? Did they hope you would understand one day? Did they hide their feelings because timing never allowed it, because circumstances made honesty difficult, because love sometimes wears silence when words are too dangerous? These are the thoughts that arrive late at night when the room grows still, not because of the money, but because of what the money proves. It proves you mattered more than you knew. It proves someone carried your name in their heart with greater weight than they ever let you see. And now comes the moment that changes everything. Because inheritance does not only transfer wealth, it transfers unfinished meaning. When someone leaves you everything, they are not merely handing you possessions, they are handing you trust, belief, legacy, and in some ways, their final unfinished conversation with you. Their wealth becomes their last sentence, their final declaration, their unspoken confession. And what it says is this: I believed you were meant for more. That realization will either awaken you, or frighten you. Because suddenly you cannot pretend to be ordinary anymore. Suddenly you cannot keep shrinking yourself to fit the expectations of people who never understood you. Suddenly you must confront the possibility that your life has always been preparing for something larger than survival, larger than routine, larger than the small identity you accepted simply because it felt safer. Someone entrusted you with abundance because they believed your future required it. Because they saw a road ahead of you that demanded more resources, more reach, more capacity than you currently understood. In their eyes, you were never small. You were never temporary. You were never average. You were someone worth investing in completely. And perhaps that is the deepest emotional twist of all. The inheritance may not transform you because of what it buys. It may transform you because of what it reveals. It reveals that while you were doubting yourself, someone else was certain about you. While you were questioning your worth, someone else had already decided it was immeasurable. While you were wondering if your life mattered, someone else quietly built a final act designed to prove that it did. Yet this is only the beginning. Because with every gift of this magnitude comes a hidden challenge. Can you receive it? Can you truly accept abundance without sabotaging it? Can you hold something valuable without convincing yourself you do not deserve it? Many are handed blessings they secretly reject because deep down they still identify with lack. They still believe struggle is all they know. They still fear that receiving too much means losing it all. But the person who left this for you did not choose you to watch you shrink under the weight of self-doubt. They chose you because they believed you would rise. So hear this clearly, this inheritance is not permission to become someone new. It is evidence of who you already were. You were always the kind of person worthy of extraordinary trust. You were always the kind of soul capable of carrying more. You were always the one whose future held greater things than your present circumstances suggested. The wealth did not create your value. It exposed it. And still, there remains one final truth you must understand before this chapter closes. The greatest part of what they left behind cannot be counted in numbers. It cannot be stored in accounts or measured in property. The greatest part is the certainty that your existence changed someone's life so deeply, that even in their final decisions, they were thinking of you. In a world where so many fear they will be forgotten, someone made sure you would remember forever that you were loved, chosen, and believed in. Few people receive proof that undeniable. Few people ever get such a direct answer to the question, did I matter? You did. More than you knew. More than they ever said. More than perhaps you allowed yourself to believe. And as this truth settles into your heart, another realization begins to rise quietly beneath it. Maybe this was never only about what they left you. Maybe it is about what they awakened in you. The courage, the confidence, the understanding that your life carries weight, that your presence has impact. That even when you cannot see the full meaning of your journey, someone, somewhere, may already understand your worth better than you do. So when the shock fades, when the paperwork is signed, when the silence returns and you are left alone with the enormity of what has happened, remember this above all else: the true miracle was never the wealth. It was discovering that behind the scenes of your ordinary life, someone extraordinary believed in you enough to leave you their entire world. And what happens next depends on what you choose to do with that belief. The strangest part of all is what happens after the first shock fades, because once the disbelief settles, another feeling begins to rise beneath it, one even more powerful than surprise. You start replaying every memory, every conversation, every fleeting moment with that person, searching for clues you somehow missed. A glance that lasted a little too long, advice they gave that felt oddly personal, the way they seemed to understand your silence when others only heard your words. Suddenly the past no longer looks the same. Moments you once dismissed as ordinary begin glowing with hidden meaning. And that is when the realization deepens. This was never a sudden decision made at the end of their life. No, they had been preparing this for longer than you know. They had been deciding, watching, considering, long before the world ever imagined your name would be attached to theirs in such a life-changing way. There were people around them who expected to receive what was theirs. People who assumed position, bloodline, status, or familiarity would guarantee them everything. But expectation does not equal worthiness. Familiarity does not equal trust. And when the time came for them to choose who would carry forward all they had built, they looked beyond tradition, beyond pressure, beyond what others thought made sense. They chose the one person they believed could honor what they created rather than merely consume it. They chose the one whose heart mattered more than appearance, whose integrity outweighed reputation, whose future held more promise than anyone else could see. They chose you. And that decision is about to reveal truths not everyone will celebrate. Because not everyone is happy when unexpected favor finds the person they underestimated. Some will question it. Some will whisper. Some will act as though you did not earn what was given. They will search for explanations that make them more comfortable: luck, manipulation, coincidence, secret motives, anything except the truth. And the truth is simple: someone with every right to choose, chose you. Not because of accident. Not because of pity. But because they believed you were the rightful continuation of something they spent a lifetime building. Stay till the end, because understanding this may change how you handle every voice that doubts your place in the future ahead. What many people never realize is that abundance often reveals more about those around you than it reveals about you. The moment favor touches your life, masks begin to slip. People who applauded you from a distance may suddenly become cold. Those who claim to support you may quietly resent what they never expected you to receive. And while that can feel painful, it is also clarifying. Because sometimes the greatest blessing is not only what enters your life, but what gets exposed when it does. You begin seeing who celebrates your rise, and who only liked you when you were easier to overlook. Yet even that is part of the inheritance. Because the person who left you everything understood something many never learn until too late. Wealth is not merely a resource. It is a revealer. It amplifies character. It magnifies intention. In the wrong hands, it destroys. In the right hands, it multiplies purpose. And the fact that they placed it in yours means they trusted not only your present self, but the person you are becoming. They believed you had the discipline to handle more. They believed you would not be ruined by what ruins others. They believed you could carry blessing without losing humility. Think about how rare that kind of confidence is. How many people have looked at you and seen not just who you are now, but who you could become under the right circumstances. That is what makes this so emotional. Because perhaps for the first time in your life, someone's belief in you is impossible to deny. No guessing, no wondering, no reading between the lines, no hoping someone secretly saw your value. They made it undeniable, permanent, written, final. Their last major decision in this world became proof of their trust in you. And that kind of proof has a way of healing wounds you did not even realize you carried. Wounds from being overlooked, from being chosen second, from watching others receive opportunities while you stood unnoticed, from giving your best in rooms where no one seemed to recognize what you offered. All of that begins to shift now, because this moment is not merely external change, it is internal restoration. But with restoration comes responsibility, because now you must decide whether you will rise into the version of yourself they believed in, or retreat into the smaller version of yourself the world became used to. This is where many hesitate. They receive the opportunity, yet remain trapped in the mindset of who they were before it arrived. They inherit abundance but still think like they are in lack. They gain access but still move in fear. They are chosen, yet keep behaving as though rejection defines them. Do not make that mistake. Something important is waiting for you in this realization. The inheritance did not arrive to make your old identity more comfortable. It arrived to call you higher. There is a reason your life unfolded the way it did. A reason certain doors stayed closed until now. A reason you had to develop strength before receiving what others would have mishandled. Had this blessing come earlier, you may not have understood it. You may have wasted it. You may have been too uncertain, too distracted, too dependent on others' approval to carry it well. But now? Now you are different. Scarred perhaps, wiser certainly, more aware of what truly matters. The timing was not random. It was preparation disguised as delay. And perhaps the person who left this to you knew that. Perhaps they waited because they understood that your greatest growth would happen in the years before the blessing arrived. Perhaps they saw not just your present readiness, but your future maturity. Perhaps they knew there would come a moment when you would finally be strong enough to receive this without it consuming you. That thought alone changes everything, does it not? To know that even in silence, someone was considering not just what to give you, but when you would be most prepared to carry it. So if you are wondering why this happened now, why life waited until this moment to reveal such a stunning turn, maybe the answer is simple. Because now is when you are ready to stop questioning whether your life matters, ready to stop asking if you are worthy of more, ready to stop living beneath the level of trust someone else already placed in you, ready to understand that what has entered your hands is not random fortune, it is recognition. Recognition of your resilience, recognition of your character, recognition of your quiet greatness. And as that truth settles into your spirit, another realization begins to emerge, one even deeper than the inheritance itself. What if this person did not leave you everything merely because they loved you? What if they left it because they believed your story was only beginning? Because the next chapter of your life will not be defined by what was handed to you. It will be defined by what you build from it. And when that realization fully arrives, when you understand the true mission hidden inside this gift, you may finally see why they trusted you above everyone else. And that is where the true weight of this moment begins to settle in, because after the emotion, after the disbelief, after the tears and the silence and the long nights spent staring into the ceiling trying to understand why this happened to you, one question remains louder than all the rest. What am I supposed to do with this now? Not just the wealth, not just the inheritance, but the meaning of it, the responsibility of it, the invisible expectation hidden inside a gift this enormous. Because deep down, you know this was never meant to be something you simply receive and forget. No, this carries purpose. It carries assignment. It carries the quiet pressure of knowing someone believed your future could hold more than comfort, they believed it could hold significance. That is why this blessing may feel heavier than people imagine. From the outside, others see fortune. They see luxury. They see ease. But what they do not see is the internal shift happening within you. Because when someone entrusts you with everything they built over a lifetime, they are doing more than giving, they are passing a torch. And torches are not meant to be admired from a distance. They are meant to be carried forward. Which means the real question is no longer, why did they choose me? The real question becomes, how do I become the person worthy of what they saw in me? That question changes people, because now your days begin to feel different. The choices you make begin to matter differently. The way you spend your time, the people you allow near you, the habits you tolerate, the excuses you keep repeating, all of it suddenly comes under a new light. You start realizing that if someone believed you were capable of carrying legacy, then perhaps you can no longer afford to live casually. Perhaps you can no longer keep shrinking your dreams to fit your fears. Perhaps you can no longer pretend your life is small simply because playing small once made others comfortable. Don't skip, because this may be the part that transforms everything. Some inherit wealth and lose themselves in pleasure. Some inherit blessing and spend it trying to impress people who never cared. Some receive opportunity and waste it proving something to the wrong audience. But that is not why this was given to you. It was not left to you so you could become louder, more arrogant, more distracted, more consumed by appearances. It was left to you because someone believed you could turn privilege into purpose. They believed you would understand that the greatest use of abundance is not display, it is impact. That means the inheritance is not your ending. It is your beginning. For years, perhaps, you survived in environments that taught you to think short term. Just get through the week. Just make it to next month. Just survive what is in front of you. But now life is asking something new of you. It is asking you to think beyond survival, to think in generations, to think in legacy, to think in terms of what your choices today might create tomorrow, because that is how the person who chose you thought. They did not build all they built by living moment to moment. They built with vision, with patience, with strategy, and by placing everything in your hands, they were silently saying, now you must learn to do the same. This is where many people misunderstand transformation. They think life changes the moment circumstances improve. But real transformation does not happen when the blessing arrives. It happens when your mindset finally catches up to what has been placed in your hands. It happens when you stop seeing yourself as the person who was once overlooked, and start seeing yourself as the person trusted with more. It happens when you no longer move like someone waiting for permission to matter. It happens when you begin walking with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they were chosen for a reason. And perhaps that is what this person wanted most for you all along. Perhaps more than leaving you wealth, they wanted to leave you certainty. Certainty that you are capable. Certainty that you are seen. Certainty that your life was never meant to remain where it started. Because sometimes the most life-changing gift someone can give is not money itself, but evidence that they believed in your future before you did. Imagine what it means that someone spent a lifetime building something extraordinary, and in their final act, looked at the whole of it and said, "This belongs with them." Think about the level of faith hidden inside that choice. They were not investing in who you used to be. They were investing in the version of you they believed was still unfolding. The version of you that rises higher, thinks deeper, builds bigger, loves wiser, moves stronger. They believed your best chapters had not happened yet. And maybe they were right. Maybe this moment is not random fortune entering your life. Maybe it is confirmation. Confirmation that the limitations you once accepted were never your final reality. Confirmation that the setbacks did not define your ceiling. Confirmation that the pain, the delays, the confusion, the waiting, all of it was shaping someone who could eventually carry more than they once imagined. Because the truth is, blessings this meaningful rarely arrive just to make life easier. They arrive to make life larger. Larger in responsibility. Larger in purpose. Larger in possibility. And if you can understand that, if you can receive not just the gift but the message behind the gift, then you will begin to see what others miss. This inheritance was never merely about what was left behind. It was about what is being awakened within you. A hunger to rise. A desire to honor what was entrusted. A deeper understanding that your life is meant for more than drifting through ordinary days unnoticed. Someone believed your future was powerful enough to carry their legacy. Now the only question left is whether you will believe it too. Because in the next chapter of this story, you will face the moment every chosen person eventually faces, the moment where you must decide whether to protect the old version of yourself, or finally become the person your destiny has been waiting for.